And then
it says live. It looks like
it does say live. It does say live. I always check on my phone though to make sure.
Heck yeah, dude. You want to send me the link on IG? I'll put it in my what's it called? I'll put it in my Instagram bio.
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know if I can copy the link to a. Yeah. Oh, here you go. All right. No one's on here yet. That's good. That's good. All right. Yeah, I can.
Whew.
All right. There's the link.
Yes, sir. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing well. I'm just gonna finish sending this to a couple people, and then we are gonna get underway as soon as we have a person or two in here. You know how it be. All right. Looks like we got one person now. What's up, guys?
What is going on?
One person. Let's go.
You were sick, right? So are you like feeling better? Are you back on the grind? How's that going?
We're back on the grind. Yeah. So before I start the show, I will give you a little disclaimer. I was not feeling well at all. To anyone who's on here right now, I was feeling quite under the weather. There were rumors that I might have COVID at one point, which would have been impressive since I don't leave my house. But yeah, I did not. But I did have a lingering fever for the entire last week and a half. So yeah, it was not lovely, but I am feeling a little bit better now. I'm still not feeling great, but definitely feeling a little bit better. And I figured since we didn't record last week, we would bring y'all a live show this week. So without much more, I'm gonna shoot this to a little 59-second countdown. And when we're back, Second Take will be live with Austin Scott. All right, welcome to the Second Take Live. This is the second time we've done a live show. I'm joined right now by Austin Scott, who runs at Austino Sports Talk on Instagram. John will be here with us momentarily. Hopefully, he was busy doing something. I don't know. He might have had a knitting class or something. Anyways, so Austin, before we get down into some of the NFL nitty gritty, I figured I'd give you a chance to kind of, push your links out there. Tell everyone to go follow what your handles are. So go tell everyone a little bit about your page, and then we'll get underway.
Yeah, for sure, man. First off, thanks for that countdown was pretty dope, man. That felt pretty real. Felt like
yes, sir.
Going live on ESPN or something. But yeah, so basically I have my own sports podcast. I put out an episode once a week. Always have a guest on about either baseball, basketball, or football. I kind of rotate the three. Besides the podcast weekly, I always try to interact with my fans and with the content on IG. So I got polls of the day. I have polls on my story every day as well. Just try to always interact with you guys because I love sports and I just love talking with you all. So Yeah, man. So the Instagram's going to be at Austino Sports Talk. Go drop a follow and, support the podcast. Tune in and interact with the polls that are on my story every day and send me a DM. I'll respond even if it's about, even if it's not about sports, man. Love just talking to people. And Twitter is going to be at Austino Sports. And then everything else is Austino Sports Talk. So if you go to YouTube, if you want to watch the video version of the episodes, go to Austino Sports Talk on YouTube. If you want to listen to the podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, Austino Sports Talk. And yeah, man, would love for you guys to support and want to get down to it. And looks like John is back from his knitting class. Good stuff.
John is back from knitting class, everyone. How was knitting class, John?
It was outstanding, actually.
It was outstanding.
Learned how to crochet my grandson in 40 years.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah. I'm glad you finished that sentence because you started with "I learned how to crochet my grandson," which was a little bit concerning. So, Austin, as you know, you're not just on here to promote all your stuff. So we brought you on to do a couple different things. One of those things is Dak Prescott got signed for a shit ton of money this past week. Yeah, that dude is making absolute bank right now. Mm-hmm. And so my question as we get underway, as people are starting to join up, is was this deserved? I feel like we get all these Cowboys fans and they're like, oh, fuck Jerry Jones. And they're losing their minds. And then he finally signs the guy to all the money that they say they should have. And they're like, why are we signing him? We're not even going to win the Super. So I feel like there's just this disconnect. Like half of them think he's the next Tom Brady. Half of them think he's like a stat padding garbage time quarterback. Where is the disconnect here? And was it worth it to sign Dak Prescott to the equivalent of like an Elon Musk level contract?
No, honestly, I definitely agree. I think there's definitely some imbalance because a lot of people question where Dak ranks among quarterbacks. Is he Tom Brady material? Oh, is he the next Patrick Mahomes or, Josh Allen? But, he's kind of mobile, but he's not, as mobile as them. And I think it was the right choice. I actually do think Dak deserves that contract because, this is hard for me to admit. I don't know if do you guys hate the Cowboys? Do you guys
with a burning passion, actually.
Exactly. Right. I don't like the Cowboys either, but I don't mind Dak Prescott as an individual.
Yeah, I agree. I
don't hate Dak Prescott. I actually had a poll a couple of days ago, and people were just someone was like, I hate Dak, and I was like, do you hate Dak or do you just hate the Cowboys? And they just hate the Cowboys. Right. So I don't hate Dak. I actually kind of like Dak Prescott. I think he deserves it. I think he deserves the money, especially after that injury. It was kind of a scare that he might not even get that big level contract, but I think he deserves it. I think I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl in the next 4 years, but if they win one Super Bowl with Dak, I think the contract's going to be worth it. I think it's high risk, high reward, but it's good for him,
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think it's fantastic for him. And I think it's really – listen, you guys know I'm a fairly opinionated individual, but I got nothing. Again, I'm left completely with nothing. Like with the Carson Wentz deal, I have absolutely nothing. I don't know if Dak is going to come back and play like he has one leg. I have no idea. I don't know if Dak is going to come back and look like he needs his leg amputated, or if he's going to come back and look like he did this season, which in my opinion was the front runner for MVP. So there's this whole huge disconnect there of I don't foresee him coming back and being meh. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's going to be this either I can see Carson Wentz being okay, Carson Wentz, whatever. But I see Dak Prescott coming back and being holy shit, it's a Dak Prescott season, or being holy shit, Dak Prescott, oh my God. Yeah. And so that's kind of my thing. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think, Austin, you had on your page a thing about, is it better to pay these quarterbacks these, millions upon millions, $40 million plus salaries? And it's versus, getting them 20 to 30 and then getting them a great supporting cast. Look at guys like Aaron Rodgers, who has been restructuring his contract for years and years just to keep the guys he is. And look at how good that team is doing. That Cowboys team needs a lot, has areas where they have needs, like, their offensive line isn't as great as it, used to be. Ezekiel Elliott needs a good offensive line to really be a powerful running back.
Yeah, exactly.
The defense was abysmal. Throw my grandma out there; she'll play better coverage on the Washington football team's wide receiving core.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where it's like you paid him the money you had been promising after the franchise tag after franchise tag. I just think $75 million in a year is kind of absurd if you want to, actually have a chance. But you're playing in the NFC East. You don't need much to win.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
I was actually reading an article on like how they constructed the Dak deal, and it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff, but like the way they actually constructed it, where it's like he has like a $66 million guaranteed signing bonus, right? So they distribute that over the span of like 5 years, and so the first year of his contract, I think he's only getting like 22 mil. I believe somewhere around that like 20 to 25 million range, like in that first year, that's what he's guaranteed. And then he's getting banked the next like 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that allows the Cowboys to actually build that supporting cast in the next like 1 to 2 years, because we all kind of saw like flashes of potential within that defense. I always kind of look at them like as the Raiders defense. I think they have young defenses, and I think the Cowboys could have a good defense. They already have a good offense. Their coaching's very questionable. Questionable. So they'll have to figure that out. But I don't know if they can get a decent, maybe 1 or 2 like good defensive players, like, via free agency or trade or whatever. And then I don't know, maybe not Mike McCarthy, maybe just like anybody else. Then
wait, pause. I thought Aaron Rodgers was the problem. I thought Aaron Rodgers just couldn't get along with people. That's what but come on, guys. I thought he just couldn't get along with Mike McCarthy. I thought that was the problem. It's so funny how everyone wants to roast Mike McCarthy now after one season of not being with Aaron Rodgers. It's
can't wait till he goes to Alabama, and just because Alabama's Alabama, everyone's gonna be like, Mike McCarthy's the GOAT. He makes Alabama. And it's like, no, it's because you're getting 5-star recruits who are born out of the womb with 6-packs and can throw a 60-yard bomb. Like, are you kidding me?
You're getting wide receivers that have better accuracy than Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you, Austin. The Dak deal is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I was a huge pay Dak Prescott guy until he got injured, and then I was kind of like, all right, you should really pay the guy, but where's the cutoff point? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is too much money. There's no reason that Dak Prescott should be making more money than Aaron Rodgers. That's kind of my when players get signed, I look at guys like Rodgers, who I used to be making a ton of money. Now he's making a good amount of money to play quarterback. And I'm kind of like, there's literally zero reason why Dak Prescott should be making more than a guy like Aaron Rodgers. And I don't think he's like Mahomes. Like, lots of players have a Hall of Fame type season. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what I think he was having this year. And I think it's kind of both an overreaction and an underreaction, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, he's the next Tom Brady. And then a lot of people are also like, this guy's just ass. Like, this guy is Jared Goff with better receivers. And so it's a whole thing. It's absolutely a whole thing. And at the core of it is Jerry Jones playing mediocre to bad defensive players, max contracts every other season.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, if you had asked me last year when the franchise tag happened, I would have been like, Jerry Jones, you clown. You old, ignorant man. Like, are you kidding me? Dak Prescott deserves so much money. Mm-hmm. But now it's kind of like, he got hurt. Cowboys still sucked, but it kind of brought light to, okay, Dak needs money. You need Dak to stay on that team because you can't be out there with Ben DiNucci. But so much of that supporting cast could do nothing. Like, Zeke had butterfingers. Let's get that out there. He was fumbling the ball every time he touched it. The receivers weren't bad. I see a bright future for that receiving core with Dak. I think CeeDee Lamb is up for a great sophomore season. I think he kind of went under the radar. A lot of his catches, were kind of like, he had one great catch, but it was out of bounds, and everyone just kind of overlooked it. But yeah, I think Cowboys. I think the Giants are winning the division next year. I think it's kind of one of those things where the Giants are looking good. Giants are winning the division unless the Cowboys can, pull something out of their ass,
Yeah, exactly. And they've been bad.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They were bad with Dak Prescott.
Exactly.
I think Dominique Foxworth said this on Get Up the other morning. They were bad with Dak Prescott. So what makes you think that Dak Prescott comes back and all of a sudden they're a Super Bowl caliber team?
Exactly.
They were already terrible. They barely beat the Atlanta Falcons because they didn't know how to fall on top of a ball.
Yeah. Oh, that was almost horrible.
Okay, exactly. And so that's my point. Like your team is god awful with this quarterback that may or may not be the next Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes back. Granted, he could be a shell of what he previously was, because let's look at other guys who got leg injuries. Alex Smith, comeback player of the year. They should name the award after him. But my goodness, like he is not a good quarterback right now.
Yeah. He is not the Kansas City Chiefs, Alex Smith.
Right,
Remember
exactly.
That?
That
was
was a very good quarterback. That was a very good quarterback, and I mean, he sure as hell no Kirk top 10 Cousins, but he was a good quarterback. And so, Austin, do you think the Cowboys will at least make the playoffs next year?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys will make the playoffs, even with the current team that they have. I think Dak's going to be on a mission this year, and it's going to really suck if he turns out and plays like shit. Like, that's going to be really bad. Like, if he comes out of the gate and he's just, like, playing like a bottom half of the league quarterback, that's going to be really bad. I got them with the playoffs, though. I was just thinking of this while you guys were talking, but, like, what if Dak Prescott was on the Washington football team or the New York Giants? Like, how good would those teams be in comparison to him being with the Cowboys right now? Like, would the Giants and the football team be, like, immediately, like, dark horse Super Bowl contenders? Like, what do you guys think?
The football team would be great. The football team is still my second team. I think the Cowboys are taking third place in that division. I think the football team, I think Antonio Gibson's pretty good. I think Terry McLaurin's a good wide receiver. That defense is crazy. Chase Young is outstanding. The Giants, if he was on the Giants, that Giants team would be great. Evan Ingram, not Pro Bowl tight end Evan Ingram, out there, dropping every ball known to existence. But
they really left my boy Robert Tonyan. Bobby Tonyan was not a Pro Bowler because they decided Evan Butterfingers Ingram needed to. It's so much.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Might as well put Eric Ebron up there.
Yeah, exactly. You might as well throw bricks for hands Ebron up there. Exactly. Clan Fuel says Austin can have my kids.
I will think about that. Slide into my DMs. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. We'll talk about forms of payment. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So, okay, I just got some news from a source of mine, all my magic little sources, that T.Y. Hilton has been shown interest from the Packers and the Dolphins. So really quick, before I ask you a little bit about your journey through the podcasting world, what a journey it's been to this point, I'm sure. I, as a Packers fan, I'm throwing up the X right there. No, thank you.
He's too old.
He's old.
He's going downhill.
He's not that great. Will Fuller's better. We can probably sign Will Fuller for cheaper, if not like the same amount. And also we could sign Corey Davis, or we could just leave Lazard. Like at this point, I'd much rather have Lazard than T.Y. Hilton. So what do you think, Austin?
I mean, if we're talking about T.Y. Hilton to the Packers, I think T.Y. Hilton's like 31 years old. So, I mean, I would say last year was kind of a fluke. I don't think it was that much on T.Y. Hilton. He just didn't get a lot of looks because he's a talented-ass guy. I think he has 3 pretty good years left in the tank. If you were to go to Green Bay, I don't really know where he would fit. I feel like that's just the
my thing. Yeah.
I agree. I feel like
I feel like T.Y. Hilton would be a great wide receiver in the league on a different football team, even with the Colts still. Even with Carson Wentz. I don't think he should go to the Packers. It just doesn't really fit. There's not really room right now. I feel like they should kind of stick with what they have, and maybe draft a wide receiver or get a different wide receiver. But like their wide receiver core, they have Tunyon, of course. I think their receivers in general aren't that bad right now. I think they're doing all right. So.
Right. I think the problem with the Packers receivers is the drops, and that's why I think you see Aaron Rodgers the last 2 years has had like 300 more yards dropped on passes than the next leading quarterback. Like, it's brutal. They drop everything.
Yeah.
And so, and it really comes down to two guys. It really comes down to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and then it seems stupid, but really it's Davante Adams. He's fantastic. I think he's the best, maybe the second best wide receiver in the league right now. But listen, the guy, he drops the ball in clutch situations. Right through his hands. Like, it forgets where he is in the end zone. And so it really comes down, we need that reliable guy. And I think Will Fuller and Corey Davis is like a security, like he catches everything. And so I think that's a good guy. Lazard is very good at catching. He's just not very fast. Like, he's kind of good at everything. He's an exceptional pass blocker and run blocker. He's kind of good at everything, but, like, he's not great at anything other than run blocking and maybe, like, breaking tackles. I don't really know. So I feel like Lazard's a good 3 or 4 option, but, I mean, I would love to see a wide receiver core of Davante Adams, Will Fuller, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling should he learn how to catch the ball. That would be fantastic because he is so talented. Just needs to learn how to catch. So awesome. We got a few more minutes with you. So I wanted to ask you, obviously you got into podcasting around the same time. I think a little bit after you had a show before, but I think you started Ostino Sports Talk a little bit after we kind of rebooted and got on track with Second Take, the Instagram page and the podcast. Absolutely. Which I think are kind of separate things now, but whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, how did you get into that? Who was kind of like, who did you sit down with and were like, I kind of want to do this, or did you just kind of think of it on your own?
Yeah, for sure. So I had not my own show. I had a different podcast called the Rivalry Diary with one of my friends. He was a huge Dodger fan, huge Laker fan. I'm a huge SF Giants fan, Kings fan. So that's how I came up with the name. Did it for a couple months, just didn't work out because our schedules were conflicting, and we kind of stopped doing it. Kind of did what you did, took like a couple months off, and I'm like, okay, obviously I love sports. I kind of want to keep podcasting, but to do it on my own is a little scary. Like, it's all on me, and it'd be cool to kind of be in it with somebody. But yeah, I kind of just I had a month off of college, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start this thing up by myself and then just have guests on my podcast. That way I'm not alone. I love talking sports. I can always hop on and talk sports by myself. It just seems, I don't know, not as fun for me. So, I love interviewing people. And so I just decided to start my whole thing has always been Ostino Sports Fan. That's like my PlayStation gamer tag, my Instagram. That's just what it's always been. So I'm like, Ostino Sports Talk. I guarantee no one's taken that name. So, just did that. And I just love interviewing people, getting people's stories. And so, once a week, I try to get people, baseball, basketball, football on. And the Instagram thing's kind of weird. It's kind of turned into its own separate thing. It's just because, like, I don't want to just have an Instagram where I'm like once a week posting like, oh, here's a new podcast episode. Like, I'm not going to gain listeners like that. So I'm trying to interact with people, post polls, DM people constantly, trying to get a fan base to actually listen to my podcast. And so it's worked out pretty well. I'm over 500 followers. Had our boy Spark NFL on a couple weeks ago. It's been fun, man, just reaching out to people and landing some cool guests. But it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Don't mention that unholy name of Spark NFL.
John's gonna do that.
Oh no! Come on! No!
How
like that?
Dare you?
Oh no! Not like that! No way! Oh,
not that bad, man.
Oh my god!
A phony.
He does buy tens of thousands of followers at a time. But moving on.
Maybe if you actually looked at his like to follower ratio, you would figure out.
John,
that don't seem right. We're gonna get canceled for this.
We're gonna move right along now for the fourth time I've said that. Into Oh my God.
Jesus.
So yeah, you said the Instagram and the site. Okay, so also for those of you who are on this right now, my editing software crashed again as I was editing the interview with Chris Dishman. So that will be out on Thursday. It will not be out before Thursday because I'm fucking done with my editing software. So it will be out on Thursday, and that is that. He was great. He was awesome. He was a great player.
He is awesome.
Great guy.
Dude.
Yeah, super chill guy. Loved having him on. If you should DM him and see if
Oh my God,
if he wants to do an interview with you. He was awesome.
he was an awesome interview.
Yeah, he was an awesome interviewer.
Most interesting life.
Yeah, for sure. Brandon Schmidt and Logan say hello. How are you doing today? We are doing fantastic.
I'm in agony.
John is in agony. But I am doing fantastic.
We're doing good.
Austin, thank you so much for coming on, man. We got a couple more minutes. So the last thing I'm going to talk to you about is the Tom Brady contract. I'm still unclear whether it was a 4-year extension or a 1-year extension.
Yeah.
There were many conflicting reports that I literally don't even know what to believe. But either way, he's going to play for another 4 years. Yeah. Let's just accept that.
What I got from it was there's a possibility for 4 years, but after this year, they have the ability to back out of the contract.
Yeah, it's like a team option. Okay. That's what I thought too. If the Bucks back out, they're idiots because they're terrible. They're terrible.
As long as Tom Brady takes you to 10-6, 10-7, depending on if it's a 16 or 17. I think you got to keep him for 4 more years. Like
he's also
4 more years.
He's also got a bunch of playoff incentives, but those are guaranteed because
right. Those are exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. He's all like they reconstructed that contract. It was funny. I posted that and I'm like, Tom Brady's like 2-year, $50 million deal. Now he's making like $40 million next year. So everyone's getting paid, man. I wish I got paid. Maybe maybe $100K. I'm good with that.
John, and my thing has always been like when a player like screws up, I've always been like, I would happily take half of the league minimum to suck as bad as that guy does on the field.
Oh, yeah.
I swear. You got all these backups who just stand around. Are you kidding me? I'll sit out there and play backup long snapper.
Brandon says, Tom Brady is going to play for another 4 years. Brandon, I completely agree with you, man. I do not see a world in which Tom Brady does not play for another 4 years. That's a good call. I mean, he might play till he's 50. Yeah. He may play till he's 50, and I think that will actually tarnish his legacy because I was not a believer of he's going to fall off the cliff 5 years ago. I now am. What I saw last year, he did not play exceptionally well. He really did not, and I don't think it's going to get any better. I know there are a lot of people like, second year with this team. He might put up a little bit better numbers this year. That's completely possible, especially with a 17-game season, but I am now kind of on that he's going to fall off the cliff boat. And hey, maybe he proves me wrong and plays MVP level football until he's 50, but I just really don't see it happening, especially after what I saw last year.
Yeah, I think a lot of it had to do with a great supporting cast. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was all, that entire wide receiving core, but I saw, or I think Naaman saw it too, a stat that showed there were a lot of stats that Cam Newton beat Tom Brady in this year compared to last year.
Before we go to break and have our second guest on, I gotta find this.
It was yards. I think it was yards per play.
Here it is. Tom Brady, 2019 Tom Brady last year with the Pats versus 2020 Cam Newton. Tom Brady, 60.8 completion percentage. Cam Newton, 65.8. Tom Brady, 6.6 yards per attempt. Cam Newton, 7.2. Those can all be done with, obviously, Cam took way less attempts. Okay, here are the real stats, though. 73.1 on-target throw percentage compared to 74.6 on-target throw percentage. 20.6 bad throw percentage for Tom Brady versus 19.7 bad throw percentage for Cam Newton. And then 1.9 points per drive for Tom Brady compared to 2.1 points per drive for Cam Newton. So the offense was actually better this year than they were last year. The difference is last year Tom Brady had the best statistical defense since the 1985 Bears. This year you had whatever D2 guy you drafted in the second round out there for safety. Yeah, Kyle Duggar, who really should have been playing linebacker the entire season, but you had him out there playing safety.
Anybody, I dare you to tell me Kyle Duggar actually had an okay season for a D2 guy. I've had this conversation with someone. I'm just going to say it was my driving instructor, actually, trying to tell me how Kyle Duggar had a great season. And I had to tell him, well, actually, the guy makes tons of tackles, but it's because he's getting beaten underneath by 5 yards. So he just has to come up and stand there like a brick.
You need a driving instructor, man.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, listen, you're not.
That was a tough one.
Really quick before we have you hop off. Down in or out in New England, there is this radio station called Felger and Mass.
Oh,
and these dumbasses sit out, and it's just your average sports radio show. You know, they get like the 5 o'clock call-in hour where all the dads on their way home from work are like, "Yo, let me get a load of this guy." And they're like, call him, and they're like, all right,
fire Brad Stevens.
Fire Brad Stevens. Tatum don't deserve this. And they go crazy on this show. And Felger and Mouse sit there and just say the dumbest stuff.
They bathe in the money.
Yes. And then they bathe in the money that they make because they got all these people to call in.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Really made me think about doing radio shows.
Austin, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have anything else you'd like to say before we go to break real quick, before we come back? And hopefully Ramsey will join up in a couple minutes here.
Yeah, honestly, man, I'm pretty tired. Probably going to go back to sleep. For all you out there that live in a decently populated city, you should be a pizza delivery driver, make some good money, man. But it's a good side hustle. But, yeah, man, I appreciate you guys having me on, though. I really appreciate it. Obviously, we're going to keep it live, man. Good luck with the live. I'll probably tune in for the rest of it. So, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.
All right. Sounds good, man. Catch you later. Oh, there he is. Perfect timing. Really quick before I add you to the thing, you're probably really confused. You're not actually on the broadcast right now, Ramsey, but you will be in 1 second. Really quick before we do that, as I said before, for anyone who is new here, I think we're kind of rotating. We got like about 5 to 10. This, which I kind of expected. We didn't really plan this until Friday when I was like, "Oh, live show, cool." And we decided to do that. So I didn't really advertise this anymore. But listen, Chris Dishman interview Thursday. Sorry. And growth methods, I will be doing those throughout the week. So if growth is slow on the weekends, you now know why. So you can stop DMing me asking me what happened to the growth because I'll kill you.
Let's just talk about how it's the same people who were like, stop commenting on every post.
Exactly.
Why did you stop commenting?
Exactly.
You just want to tell Naaman to kill himself. They get joy from it.
Dude, John's unfiltered today. This is impressive. Calling out Spark NFL, and now here we go, man.
I could have gone farther on that Spark NFL, man.
All right, we're going to go to – maybe we will. Maybe we should. We're going to go to break for 30 seconds, and when we get back, we will be joined by Ramsey Brown, who runs Ramsey's.rundown. I was actually just on that – I was just on that podcast last week. Maybe last week.
Yeah, I think it was a week or two ago.
While John was at football, Ramsey and I had a great time. We yelled at the Texans organization. They could probably hear us from Texas.
Yeah.
The way we were yelling about them. But when we get back in 30 seconds, we will be joined by Ramsey. I have to mention the sponsor. Thank you so much to Studio.Restream.io for letting us have this live show. Me. Oh, sorry. I was just finishing up the gun show.
Oh, sorry.
Ramsey is here.
What's up, guys?
Put up with What's our antics for a couple minutes there while we went to break. What's up, Ramsey? How you doing today, man?
I'm good. I mean, like the past week has been a struggle for me. I just took the SATs, so I'm done with it now. And ready to talk some sports, I guess. I mean, it's Selection Sunday. I know we're talking NFL, but it is Selection Sunday later, 6 p.m. It's happening, so that's exciting.
Oh, I'm hyped for that. I'm absolutely hyped for that. I have a lot of makeup work to do. Let's just say your boy Norman maybe took a week off, so we got some catching up to do. Anyways, so we asked Austin the same thing. Dak Prescott, good signing, bad signing. You're not sure. What's your take?
Well, it's more, I'm not sure. It's interesting, right? Because first of all, it's great for Dak Prescott. Like, round of applause for Dak Prescott. We should all be celebrating that he just got injured, and he gets what, 4 years, 160 million, like 126, I think, guaranteed
million dollars next year.
Exactly.
Someone break my leg. Someone
come over and snap my leg in half.
Exactly, right? So they just gave Dak Prescott 4 years, 160 million after he got injured, and it's great for him. And he won the negotiations. He was able to stick it out and beat Jerry Jones in the game of chess they were playing. But
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones doesn't play chess.
He plays Go Fish. Maybe checkers. Checkers is a stretch.
We'll use checkers then, because it's a similar type board, right? So he won. Dak Prescott won the checkers match or whatever it was, and then I'm just not sure if 4 years down the road, Cowboys fans are going to be like, this is a great signing, because he's getting so much money, and it's still going to be top of the market in 4 years probably, and although we don't know, and besides Patrick Mahomes, and then I just I don't think it's going to be beneficial for the Cowboys in 4 years when he's like one of the biggest cap hits in the NFL, and they're still not making the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Ramsey, I completely agree with you. I think there have been so many different takes on this. You have half of Cowboys Nation, which I don't listen to. I like to block out Cowboys Nation.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
But we've got half of Cowboys Nation. It's like, next Tom Brady, let's go. 6 rings, baby. 1, 2.
What was their record?
4, 5, 6.
What was their record when he got hurt? 1-3, or was it 1-2?
That's my thing. They were a bad team. They were a bad team with Dak Prescott.
1-4, 1-5.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I have no idea.
It was 1 and something. It was 1 and something.
They literally beat the Falcons, and that was it.
That's what I mean, and they had to come back like 30 points on the Atlanta Falcons in Dallas with actual one of the first games with fans in the crowd too, because they had fans like the whole entire season in Dallas.
Right, because Texas.
Texas, they opened up fully for all businesses, like no mask, man. I don't even know what's happening, but I just don't know if it's going to be beneficial for them down the road. That's just my opinion. Look, great for Dak Prescott. I haven't had a podcast in the last week because I was studying for the SAT. I was ramping up for that. Awful test, by the way. You guys, what grade are you in?
We're sophomores.
I took the PS.
You're taking it next year? Oh my God, this test stinks, bro. But God, and the place I took it at, they had like flippable like 1980 style desk. You flip it up and you have it on your arm, and you write it on the chair. That's what the desk was. For this huge test, I was writing on a kindergarten desk. It was awful, but whatever.
Yeah, so the Cowboys, I'm going to give you my take again. Listen, the Cowboys fans think they're getting 6 rings, but they can't even count to 6. They're like, yeah, see, 1, 2, 6. Okay, cool. And so here's my thing. He's not the next Tom Brady, but I also don't think he's terrible, but I don't know if he's going to be terrible because he has one leg.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea. I'm left speechless yet again at another quarterback deal, which, John, you've known me for a while, and I'm not often left speechless. And even if I am, I typically find something to say. And so I have no idea. I don't think it's a good financial move for the Cowboys, but because I don't think any quarterback should be making my thing is always, is he making more than Aaron Rodgers? Is he better than Aaron Rodgers? Will he be better than prime Aaron Rodgers? The answer to Dak Prescott, all 3 of those things. Well, the first one, yes, he's making more money than Aaron Rodgers, but the second 2 are no. Dak Prescott is never his ceiling is not that high. He's not going to be Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. And so the only quarterbacks that should even feasibly have that are Mahomes and Mahomes.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I'm just not – listen, I'm not super hot on Watson either. I think – his accuracy stats were not good. So listen, maybe he makes some other team a contender. He's a great quarterback, but I'm not as high on him as perhaps some other people are. And I feel the same way about Dak Prescott. He could come back. It could be like, oh, my God, Dak Prescott is the Cowboys' savior. Or he could come back and it's like, oh, God, this dude needs amputate his leg. He needs to that leg.
Yeah, I had someone mention this to me, and I kind of, I'm not going to throw out their name or whatever, but we had this conversation after the J.J. Watt trade. It was kind of one of those things where, he taught, like, you play a professional sport. You should want to win the Super Bowl. Your main goal should be winning the Super Bowl. It should have nothing to do with money. So it should just be like with the J.J. Watt thing. He's not going to win a Super Bowl with Arizona, especially not next year. Maybe in a couple of years, maybe. But is J.J. Watt still going to be in the league in a couple of years? Who knows? He might retire. But the thing is, for me, I feel like these quarterbacks are asking for so much, and it's just, don't you want surrounding guys to give you, some talent to throw to or to hand off when you're not having a good game? Just something.
Yeah.
Think about.
All right. Will Burke asked Josh Allen or Deshaun Watson. I don't even think there should be a question. It should be Josh Allen every day of the week for eternity.
I agree. I go with Josh Allen.
Josh Allen is prime Cam Newton with better accuracy.
Josh Allen is insane, and he showed it this past season. I mean, in my opinion, he was second for MVP. I had him above Patrick Mahomes.
For sure.
The way he finished the season, and look, guys, not just because he was my fantasy quarterback, also because he was really that good. He carried my fantasy
had him
team
in 2 leagues.
There you go. He carried my fantasy team, but he also was just amazing on and off, on the field. So he was second for me, MVP. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers first. But yeah, Deshaun Watson hasn't been up. You've never said Deshaun Watson was second in the MVP race to me. I don't think he's ever been like that, because this past season when he had his best year, the Texans were 5-11. So
yeah, exactly.
Clanfield, which I'm pretty sure is Esteban, says Watson above Mahomes in MVP rankings. Listen, Mahomes was obviously, I think we all know, a little overhyped this season. He had a crap ton of dropped interceptions. His decision-making was very bad. His accuracy was meh most times. I think really it's the eye candy. It's the football porn, as I like to call it, when he does all those weird little arm angles, and the commentators are like, Patrick Mahomes, like, how do you do that? How do you throw that accurately? When in reality,
my children.
Yeah, exactly. He's just sitting in the pocket. What help did Watson have? Stop this. Yeah. Stop it. Brandon Cooks is an exceptional wide receiver. Stop. Please.
Brandon Cooks
is a great receiver. People don't give him enough credit. Although, I mean,
Brandon Cooks had a great end of the season, especially.
He's bounced around from team to team. I mean, the Saints, the Patriots, the Rams, the Texans, and the Rams stated they were never going to trade him. The Patriots stated they were never going to trade him. The Saints, everyone's saying they're not going to trade him. He just he's just throwing around. Like, he's like a ball. Like at recess.
Emmanuel Sanders.
He's just throwing around. Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders, just someone who can't stay in some place. He can't, his family. Like, I feel bad for him and his family. Like, he's not settling down. You just keep. Yeah. It's like you got to be renting these houses because you're not going to live in them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, listen, Clemfield, if we're going on value to a franchise, I guess maybe Watson is higher than Mahomes, but I don't think there's a world right now in which, given the opportunity to draft either one. Well, value money-wise, he's making a higher. He's not making more money for the Texans than Mahomes is for the Chiefs, but he's making a higher percentage of their income. Does that make any sense? Like, Deshaun Watson is probably bringing in close to 22% of their income as an organization versus Mahomes, who's probably only bringing in 16 or 17. But because the Chiefs are making so much more money, that's why. So what else does Watson have to do to be better than Mahomes?
Win a Super Bowl?
Have a season over 500.
Yeah,
win the championship. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think you need to win a Super Bowl because it is a team sport. But I think a winning season is at least achievable. I think that's something that a quarterback can pretty much carry.
They could have had a 500 season. I think
they absolutely could have. Yeah. They could have made the playoffs, in my opinion.
And what I thought right after the season too is, like, the Texans. Look, now it's not happening because of what's happening. Jack used to be. Naaman and I talked about that on my podcast, right? But the Texans, right after the season, I was like, maybe they just, get some defensive pieces. They can get back in the playoffs. I saw no reason why they couldn't get right back to the playoffs. And now, but it's
now they're just selling them.
it's gone to shit. Like it's not happening.
Right. And I'd
It's
like
not.
to just restate. I've said this so many times, but every day you do not trade Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
He is
becomes less
losing
Yeah.
value. And we said this. We talked about the phone.
We
Ramsey,
talked about the phone. We were eating
people
ice
to
cream.
voicemail. They're going to be eating a pint of ice cream in about a month from now, knowing that they could have
Exactly.
had Christian McCaffrey and 4 first-rounders, but
Exactly.
instead they traded him for Mike Davis and a conditional 5th.
Yes,
and I we could have
Deshaun Watson did just get Marcus Cannon from the Patriots. They traded him over and swapped all their picks, 5th, 6th, 7th round picks this year. Swapped them all, gave the Texans Marcus Cannon. Maybe that's a little gift to Deshaun Watson. Like, all right, now you're going to come to the Patriots because we're gifting your team.
My favorite is that they traded a 4th, 5th, 6th, and conditional 7th round pick for an old literally for an old offensive lineman. That's it. I mean, unless you're making a fringe championship run, which no, I don't think getting Marcus Cannon is overly beneficial, other than maybe making him stay. But how many times does he have to say he's not going to stay?
Exactly. I think
go ahead.
Now, that Panthers deal that they had talked about with CMC being thrown in, that would have been awesome. But I think right now, after I'm big into the college thing, I'm big into the draft, recruiting, all that stuff. Trey Lance had his pro day just the other day.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
And he actually had a great pro day. And right now, they're projecting Trey Lance at the Panthers pick. So
I love Trey Lance.
Yeah, I think
Naaman and I talked about this too.
Yeah. I think you could take Trey Lance, and you don't have to give up CMC. You have a great wide receiving core. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, all those guys are great. Maybe you have to lose one or something. You got to, whatever.
No, they have a bunch of cap space. They just restructured McCaffrey's and I think DJ Moore's deal. They gained like 11
I know they
restructured
DJ
Moore's. So it was DJ Moore and McCaffrey. So I'd like to finish my little Texans rant before we move on. Nick Caserio got there. He could have traded everyone away, gone 0-16, would have had a free pass.
Yeah.
No one would have blamed him because he got there. It was a shit show. It was a shit show. He just had to start from the bottom, and I would have been like, hey, that's a good decision. You got there. Everything's terrible. Your roster is aging, which is my favorite part. They're terrible, but it's not even like they have potential. Like the roster's aging. David Johnson is really not that good of a running back right now.
David Johnson, I mean, he started hot last year, but he did not.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just don't. I don't know. I don't understand the thought process there, and maybe it's because we're not GM, so we're not gonna understand their thought process because they're smarter than us or something. But it doesn't really seem like that. It kind of seems like you're just clinging to
not at all. Not at all. I mean, first of all, these are human beings. I understand they're the general managers, they're NFL players. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's the same type.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Exactly.
So, no one's better than us talking, them playing, whatever's happening. But Nick Caserio definitely should have just like you said, trade him. At this point,
no one would blame you.
Thing is, what's going to happen now is they're like taking David Culley, their new head coach, who I have no clue why they hired him. He was the Kansas City Chiefs head wide receivers coach when they did not have one receiver catch a touchdown. I think that was like 2013, 2014.
I don't know why the fuck Eric Bieniemy hasn't been hired yet, but
I have no clue. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't know why David Culley was their pick. I don't know why why not Jim Caldwell, someone who's established in the NFL? Why not?
Why not the Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, who brought like all this jet sweep motion to the Packers? There's so many other options.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And just now, like you said, he's losing value. Deshaun Watson is losing value day by day, but not really day by day. I think it's more like week by week because if you trade him today as opposed to tomorrow, I don't really think it's a big deal.
Yeah, I think as the weeks go on,
month by month type of thing with Deshaun Watson, but I think it's going to be like a army holdout. Like he's saying, nothing's going to happen, right? And the Texans don't want to trade him, and they've said that David Culley was like what I was saying before. David Culley, he's talking like, we plan to have Deshaun Watson as our quarterback. It's like, what you do? because he doesn't plan to have you guys as his team next year.
Wait. When did they start saying his name? I thought he was still the player.
David Culley said his name. David
did
Culley
they
said his
start-
name.
That was my favorite. They go, we do not plan on trading the player. You want this guy to like you, and you won't even mention his name. You're going to build your entire franchise around this guy, and you can't even swallow your pride enough to call the dude Deshaun Watson. Are you kidding? Are you serious? Nick Caserio, where do you get off coming from an organization that has, other than maybe Brian Flores, put out nothing but the worst, zero skill, bottom level head coaches and GMs in the NFL? Everyone wants a piece of that Patriots system. Bill Belichick is the system. Like, everyone else is terrible. Matt Patricia, Bill O'Brien, Nick Caserio, Brian Flores is the only successful one. Josh McDaniels. The list goes on and on and on. It's terrible. They're terrible. And where do you get off showing up at the least valuable franchise in the history of the NFL and not even mentioning the player's name? Are you kidding me?
Well, I will have to halt you there. The least valuable is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then the
This
Houston
is fair.
Yeah.
This is fair.
Yeah.
Then the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
It's just next year it'll probably be the Texans because the Jaguars will at least sell tickets and jerseys.
It doesn't matter. I mean, when your team's talking about moving to London, moving across to a different continent, come on.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like the Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays, they were talking about moving them up to Canada or something.
I feel like a team in London would just make it so hard.
Well, it's no further.
Imagine going from LA to London. What?
Yeah.
It's no further from where we are, John. It's the same as going to Seattle, but it would definitely make it difficult. I don't foresee them doing that. Anyways, very, very low value as a franchise. The Patriots put out shitty coaches and GMs and front office people. We all know this. It's no secret. The Texans wanted a piece of the Patriots organization. So they brought over Caserio and traded entirely too much worth for Marcus Cannon.
Exactly.
So the Patriots were going to cut Marcus Cannon. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Yet again, the Texans have made a trade where they could have signed the guy for no money. The Patriots were literally going to cut, like, he was number 3 on the cut list on the NFL, on BR Gridiron's post, like players to watch getting cut. And instead you trade 3 picks for him? Are you okay, man?
They did swap. They did swap the picks to be fair. A little swap.
That's fair, but still, you could have signed him for nothing. Instead, you still have his pretty big contract. Like, you could have signed him to maybe a little bit more than the veteran minimum. Instead, you still have his big contract, and you gave up a 4th, 5th, and 6th round pick for, I think, a 5th. Like, it was like Marcus Cannon and a 5th. Like, it's terrible. And the second thing I gotta ask you, we have a couple more minutes here. First, how did you get into podcasting and sports media and all that kind of stuff? And is this something that you just kind of like doing in high school, or is it something that you'd really like to do when you go to college and beyond that?
Yeah, so I never thought I would do anything like this because I thought it was like a big to do, or just, it was kind of scary at first, right? And then I did a virtual camp. It's called Play-by-Play Camp, and it just helped with it's just about like talking sports or whatever. Play-by-play, it's more like commentating or whatever, talking, doing radio shows. It's all like practice, right? In like little Zoom groups and stuff, and they record it and whatnot. It's a great camp. And it just got me a lot more comfortable with just talking, just talking about sports like we are right now, and just sharing my thoughts and opinions and whatnot. And then I decided, all right, I'm going to do a podcast because there's no reason not to continue this after the camp is over. I can continue sharing my opinions. I can continue talking about it. And I mean, there's just no reason to just not do it. Like, why not do it? Like, what am I doing that prevents me from doing this? Like, after school, what am I doing? Okay, maybe I go to the gym for a little bit and then I'll do this. Maybe I'm doing homework for a little bit and then I do this. Like, there's no reason. I'm not like a busy guy, right? There's no reason not to do it, right? And looking forward to after high school, Yeah, I mean, this is something that I would like to do. I think I want to go to college for like sports broadcasting and journalism. That's what I'm looking into. A lot of the schools I've been looking at, like Syracuse, Miami. There's just a bunch of schools that are good for it. And I don't know. I'll have to see where it takes me because
Right.
Yeah.
maybe I don't do it. Maybe I do it. It's all it'll play out.
said-
It'll
You
play out.
said
how it-
doo-doo.
He said doo-doo.
You said doo-doo.
Okay.
It'll play out how it plays out.
He said doo-doo. Yeah, no, that's the same thing. I was looking the other day. Obviously, I'm still a sophomore, but the other day I was looking at like some things at Syracuse and Miami, two of the schools that you mentioned. And so yeah, that's super cool. That's kind of my plan too. John has his heart set on becoming a professional underwater basket weaver. So unfortunately, not that. And
Wait,
all
what?
the modeling.
What does he want to do? Well, John, what
So
do you want to
he
do?
wants to be an underwater basket weaver.
It's not
Underwater?
That's not actually what I want to do.
Yeah,
it's a class. Rutgers actually offers a class in underwater basket weaving. It's a no credit class.
I
You
love
go
that.
there
You should do it.
with their. It's part of their
Weave-
scuba
weave
program.
that,
Yeah, exactly. It's part of their scuba program. You go there, you learn scuba. So then you get under there and you weave a basket underwater.
It's either that for John or obviously all the modeling agencies are just blowing up his phone.
Oh yeah, I think
Or maybe
so.
I'll just take up black tar heroin. That's option 3.
That's a profession.
What about
Okay.
crime?
Yeah.
That's
is my
always
other
a good
option.
plan. That's always a good plan. E or D or F or G.
Yeah.
Crime.
3.
Yeah.
I was thinking more B.
YouTube. I'd like to let you know the YouTube bots
Yeah,
that are watching.
I do
this,
not actually want to take up black tar heroin.
Throwing up the
No.
X.
Don't take it down.
The Tom Brady deal. Before we hop off, Ramsey, how long is Tom Brady going to play?
I think I think he wants to play till he's 50 years old, which is absurd and would break
Yeah.
all stereotype ever made about
Along
playing
with
NFL
his
football.
bones.
It would.
Along with his bones.
I don't
Yeah,
even know how it's. I don't even know how it's possible for someone, and like people don't even take into account he played high school football where he could have gotten hurt. He played, football in youth football too, where he could have gotten hurt. He's been playing football like his whole from the age of 5 to imagine he gets to 50, 45 years of getting hit. I mean, not anymore because not in practice anymore, but of getting getting hit, of doing drills, of doing all these things, and it's insane that he's still standing at this point.
Right.
And
It's insane.
playing-
Yeah.
and playing amazing football.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's unreal. I said this earlier. I was not in 2015 when Max Kellerman was like, "He's going to fall off the cliff." I did not buy into any of that really. I do buy into it now. What I saw from Tom Brady last year was not overly impressive. I think he played very similar to how he did in 2019. It's just that instead of N'Keal Harry and Jacoby Myers, he was throwing to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Well,
So-
yeah.
Obviously he's not bad, and as long as he can play starting quarterback caliber football, there's no reason he should be in the league. Do you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
do, however, think that he will probably take a step back, just because his accuracy has been a little bit down, and you see his accuracy ratings dipping down a little bit, his efficiency ratings dipping down a little bit. But listen, it's insane that the guy's played this long and is still.
Yeah.
He threw 40 touchdowns last year.
Yeah,
Accuracy
look,
ratings aside, he threw 40 touchdowns last year and 4,000 yards.
Of course he was gonna be good this year with Chris Godwin, with Mike Evans, with Antonio Brown jumping on ship,
Right.
Middle of the season, Leonard Fournette jumping on ship right before the season, and Ronald Jones, who was already there, Shady McCoy, who jumped on ship, who didn't do anything and still won the Super Bowl. I mean, there were so many weapons and so many mouths to feed in the offense that there was no way that Tom Brady wasn't going to just be the distributor like he's always been, be the best point guard in the NFL essentially, and just get everyone the ball.
Just get people the ball. Yeah,
That's what he did.
yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what he did. And I don't think there's any reason to think he's going to fall off a major cliff. I think it's been like a hill for the past few years. I think he's he got to the top and then he's kind of just been like going down. Nice linear, nice little linear, line. Shout out Math SAT question.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, dude got linear on the mind after that SAT.
Oh, there was a lot of linear line questions. Actually, a lot of exponential line questions. So that would be more like Drew Brees, going straight down. But Tom Brady, he has been going down, on a linear plane, and I don't expect for it to stop. But at the same time, if he keeps doing that, he'll still be a very good NFL quarterback, or at least above average NFL quarterback for the next 3 years if he decides to play that long, 3-4 years, which is when his contract is up.
Yeah,
Or
I
at least
agree.
the ghost years of it.
It's like 3 or 4 years. It's next year. Then it's team option.
It's a 1 year.
3 years.
Yeah, it's a team option.
They're like ghost years. It's weird. It's years that are there, but they're not there. So then they can spread out the money over those years because they're not paying him this year. They freed up $19 million in cap space. That's insane. Now they're going to go sign Shaq Barrett. Now they're going to go maybe try to get Leonard Fournette back. Maybe try to get Ndamukong Suh back. They're trying to win a Super Bowl again. They're trying to go back to back.
Ndamukong Suh should run hell. Anyways, I hate that guy. Oh, I can't stand him.
No, he's a little misunderstood, I think, He's misunderstood.
He stomped on a guy's chest. Misunderstood.
People change.
Naaman's just upset because he hurt Aaron Rodgers.
He partially tore Aaron Rodgers. He stepped on Aaron Rodgers' leg and partially tore it.
He was great on the Rams. That's why I like him. But
how many times does a guy have to stomp on someone's chest? I mean, honestly,
I guess 3 times. 3 times is the charm. Then I'll get off his.
Okay, I'd like to go really quick. Since John opened this can of worms before, Second Take got some insider information the other day that our boy Jake Ekberg over at Spark NFL actually buys the majority of his followers, which is why he doesn't get shit for likes, but has 100,000 followers. Not only does he Spark NFL,
he also won't get the Brady tattoo.
Yeah, he also lied to his followers to gain 1.2 thousand followers. I've done the calculations of what he gained in that time. Said that he was going to get a tattoo should the Bucs win the Super Bowl. Never did, and then blocked people who questioned him about it, whether it was just a nice DM like a "Hey, when are you getting the tattoo?" or a comment like "Tattoo season." Also, he's kind of sexist.
He gets a good amount of likes.
I'll leave. How many likes is on his post? How many likes?
So the last post he had 6,000. The other one had
that should be at least 10 to 15,000 according.
The other one had 11. Yeah, but the latest one was from 4 hours ago. This one from 20 hours ago has 11,000.
That's fair. It's not bad.
2 days ago, 10,000.
It's not bad.
2 days ago, 6,000.
You can also look at his what's his comments, because his comments should be like. What are the comments at?
The last few.
The comments should be at 1/10 of the likes.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
That's what it's supposed to be, because you can also buy Instagram bots that like your posts.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Anyways, there's a lot of stuff.
He drops a bag on them.
He's ripped off some people, which
so he spends money to get clout on Instagram.
Yes.
He lives a sad life.
According to another Instagram account, not Joe Flacco.
That could never be me.
I thought that was Canadian Cutler that sent.
No, it was not Joe Flacco. I DM'd Canadian Cutler some other time, but I can. If you do not believe us, we will. For anyone on this live, I will send you those DMs.
All three.
I would also like to just point out what he said the other day. I don't know if it was a joke or not. Either way, it was incredibly offensive. Was making fun of Tom Brady because he's not the breadwinner in his house, and saying that he is less of a person because his wife makes more money than him.
That's hilarious.
Joke or not, you probably shouldn't do that, man. But
you've got 100. We will leave that up.
Are you kidding? If my wife is the breadwinner and I'm the stay-at-home dad with cooking up for the kids,
that's awesome.
Count me in.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I'll be packing the school. I'll be packing the school lunches, spraying down their food and stuff.
Exactly. I can make a mean PB&J.
I can make. I'll make him PB&Js for breakfast. For lunch. I'll make him omelets for breakfast. I'll do whatever.
Exactly.
I'll do whatever it takes. But yeah, we just like to remind you that we enjoy having fun at Second Take, but notice that we have fun without offending entire groups of people. Woo! It's just like you don't need I think our account is pretty funny with the memes. I'm not gonna lie, but
Great memes.
we can do
Great
it
memes.
without being insensitive, which I think is
unless you're a
something.
Cowboys fan. If you're a Cowboys fan,
That's fair.
Oh,
That's
come
fair.
on.
But I think that's something that's important for people who are trying to get into sports media. And I might post something about this later. It's important to be able to have fun. Like, obviously, every once in a while we make fun of a player, but never have I been like, this player should hang himself. And there are people who do that, and so it's important to know that that's not. There is a line.
Yeah,
There is a
boundaries.
line
Of
at
course.
which it's no longer funny, and I think it's important for people getting into the sports media business to know that. And then I'm not going to buy any followers.
And you can make fun of Kyler Murray being a whittle guy or whatever you
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
right? But you can't be saying some outrageous things out here, like whatever
Right,
Spark NFL said.
exactly, and that's kind of my thing. Yeah, and the only thing that I would suggest to anyone who's getting into the business is I'm going to try this. Instagram just put out this little promotion thing, and you basically pay Instagram like $10, and instead, like, you're not guaranteed followers, but like if you pay Instagram $10 a day for like 3 days or whatever, they'll put your account out to like 50,000 more accounts. Like, you'll be on their page, on their explore page, on their like suggested for followers. So I might try that out, but Second Take is not buying any followers. I would rather have 200 followers that 10% of them like our posts, like Instagram says they should, versus 100,000 followers where half of the likes are bots. But yeah,
I've actually tried that that promotion type thing you're talking about.
Does it not work?
Not to that extent though. I didn't go $10 a day. I went $5 over 5 days, so that's $1 a day. So I think it reached like 5,000 more accounts or something, but I gained like two, 3 followers, which is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, 2 followers is pretty cool. I mean, that's good with me. I'm sitting at like 426, I think, right now. I haven't really been on it the past few days. I was focusing on tests, but I'm trying to put out more like meme type stuff, more actual like funny type things. But I'm just going with the flow. I'm not stressing over it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. There's our second stream. Next time we do one of these YouTube live streams, obviously I'll give you more notice to the people who are watching right now. I'm sure the views are a little bit down because on Friday afternoon I was like, oh, my live stream will be fun. So next time we'll plan this out a little bit more. But I think we had fun. I had fun with Ramsey as always, and Austin, who was on here a little bit earlier. Thank you so much to Austin for coming on, and thank you to my boy John for deciding to go completely unfiltered today. We do appreciate that.
Yes, John.
Once again, this is the Second Take live free agency, whatever the fuck you want to call it, show brought to you by studio.restream.io, and we will